Hey everybody, it's Missy. Thanks for joining me again today. I have another using older supplies scrapbooking layout for you today, and I'm going to be using the Hopscotch collection from Fancy Pants, and this is from 2012, so it's pretty old, and as you can see, I've gotten several uses out of it, and I've got some 12 by 12 papers left and some scraps left, some stickers and some punch out die cut shapes. And I'm just going to tell you right now that this layout takes a totally different turn, which seems to be the case with me lately. And that's okay because I still used up some of my supplies, so that's a good thing. Now when I saw this punch out die cut sheet here, I was inspired by these pennant shapes or banner type shapes, and I thought I'm going to try to use the packaging, I guess you could say, to make a fun background design. And I already have my title ready to go, and it's put aside for now, but it has to do with this crazy silly picture of my child making a goofy face at me, trying to make me laugh. So yeah, it's a funny picture, and it makes me laugh every time I look at it. But so here's my thought. I got some white cardstock, and I wanted to use up this scrap, I guess you could say. This is normally the part that you would throw away once you punched everything out of it. So we're going to try to make it as part of my background design. So I'm going to come in with some gesso and a card and cover a lot of this up. And here's my title. It's going to be Weird is a Side Effect of Awesome. And I've actually cut this out a while ago with the intentions of using it, and I never got around to making this layout until now. And so I used a couple of different things here. I used a font, I believe it's called Shoreline, and then I used the open letter alpha from the Cut Shop to create those open block letters. So the first thing I'm going to do is back all of those open spots with different papers from this Hopscotch collection. I wanted this to be bright and fun since the picture is really goofy and funny, and my title is funny. So I wanted bright, loud colors, and those are my favorite. And so I just take some time to go through all of these papers, and I know this takes a while, but I enjoy this process. It's not stressful for me. I like fussy cutting, and I like going through all the papers and looking at them and picking out just the little spots that are the perfect color or the perfect pattern to put behind these letters. And it's just a fun, relaxing thing for me. And so I did take some time to do all of that. And this is a busy collection, as you can see, but there are some, like that orange paper with the dots, that's kind of like a solid, I guess you would say. It does have dots on it, but it's not as busy as some of those floral papers or the squares, things like that. So I'm going to play around now and try to come up with how I'm going to organize this big long title with my picture and this crazy background. And the more I play around with it, the more I really don't know. All I know at this point is that I want some color on that background. I don't know if I like this at this point. Just kind of like, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to use some things I haven't used in a while. This is my, oh my gosh, what's it called? Kuretake? This is the Japanese set of watercolors I've had for a while, and they are amazing. The quality of them is fantastic, and you don't even really need a lot of it to make a really bold color. And I'm going to come in with all the colors that are in those papers that I used and just do my favorite technique here, the packaging technique. And I'm going to come in with all those colors and just kind of color this whole background with different bright colors. And the colors are fantastic. If you don't have this set of watercolors and you love to use watercolors, I highly recommend it. It's definitely a different consistency of the cheaper set, which still work great. Don't get me wrong, I still use those as well. But this is almost more of like a creamy consistency once you get it wet. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe they just look creamy, and they just seem to be a different consistency, and they go on so nicely, and I love them. So this takes a while. I try to get some of the yellows, the oranges, the pinks, the blues, the greens. And I just don't know when to stop. I just go to town here with all these watercolors. And so I have most of that done, and it's pretty. I love the way this looks. You know, I love this technique, but I don't know. I come back in and try to place things down. And while that background piece does give great texture and interest, I just don't know if I love it. I think I just went overboard with the watercolors. So I sit there for a while, and I have to turn the camera off for quite a while because I don't know what to do. So I decide maybe it needs some splatters. So I come in with some of my shimmers in coordinating colors here and add some splatters. And this was fun to make because I did get a lot messy. But at this point I thought, I just don't know what to do with this. It's too much. So I thought, let me just try and see what all of this, the big title and the picture, it looks like on a piece of solid yellow paper. And I'm like, nope. So I just finally decide, yeah, I know you're probably going, what are you doing? What are you doing? I just decided I did not know what to do next. And I did not want to use it as a full background. And so I break out my heart punch and I just start punching hearts. And that's always my answer when you create a background from scratch like this and you just don't like it, or you can't make it work for whatever reason for what you're doing. Get some punches out and punch some shapes out of it. It gives it a whole different look. So yeah, this did not turn out anything like I'd hoped, but you know, I still use that packaging and it does give these hearts some texture and some interest, and I do use them. So we'll see what happens next. So already this layout is taking a complete turn from what my original plan was. And that's okay because that always happens to me. But I like how it turns out in the end. So I love this yellow paper. It's from the +1 collection. But then I decide, I don't know, where are these hearts gonna go? I just keep messing around with it. Let's put the hearts on the side. I think the hearts look pretty cool. Definitely a way to jazz up the texture. Use some packaging on there. So yeah, I don't know. It looks okay, but it's just not making me excited about it. So I scratch the yellow paper and I get some white cardstock, which I tried to stay away from on this. I tried, but it just did not work out. So I pulled out some white cardstock and I'm going to kind of use the cursive words here, and I want to create sort of a negative on there. So I'm just going to leave it on the cardstock, take my shimmer sprays, spray right over it. And so then when I remove the cut file, you're going to see the word in white. And I'm going to do blues and greens at the top, pinks and oranges and reds down at the bottom. I haven't done this technique on a layout in a while, so I love how this turns out. Very, very cool. Looks kind of messy, but it looks really, really neat, I think. So, okay, I gave myself thumbs up finally. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to dry this. And then now, obviously, I cannot move those because they are permanently down. So now I have to arrange everything around those words. And I wanted the title to be big. I wanted it to take up the bulk of the page. But now it's just a matter of where does everything go. And I wanted the picture to be on the right because my daughter is looking at my face, and since she's looking to the left, I wanted the picture to be on the right. So it looks like she's looking at me and to the other side of the layout. So now I'm going to come in with the hearts and try to put those in different places and kind of overlap them with the title. And this is turning out way more colorful than I thought, but I kind of like it at this point. I'm still thinking. And then I decide that all of these words need to be dimensional. And so I take quite a while with the pop dots and get them all ready to go. I stitch down the hearts. I finally decided where they're all going to go, and I used some blue thread and just did a straight stitch right down the middle of all the hearts. And I added a little bit of tissue paper behind my picture. And now that I've got all the pop dots ready to go on the back of the title, I'm going to stick that down. And you know, while I did use stash on this, I didn't use nearly as much as I wanted. But, you know, that's okay. It's just the way it goes, you know? I know I said this in my last layout. If it's something that you don't like, you should change it, and whatever that takes to make you like it, because this is supposed to be a fun thing, not stressful. And, you know, you should never create a project that you don't like. And so just make it work in the end. So I'm going to add some gray thread because I'm going to try to pull out some of the gray tones in the picture, and I'm just going to add it into underneath a couple of the letters there in the title in 3 different places. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue thread over to the right just to darken up that area with a little more of the blue. And my lighting keeps getting brighter and darker. It was a cloudy, rainy day, and so the lighting outside was changing quite a bit. So hopefully you're able to see this okay. So I'm going to glue my picture down, and then I want to take my pencil and just lightly give a shadow to these words that just to make them pop just a little bit more. I didn't want to do a really dark outline around the whole thing because I like the whiteness of it against that bright color, but I think this helps to make it pop just a little bit more. I did pull some flair from my stash. Even though this isn't stash that's super old, I love adding flair to my pages, and I definitely wanted to use that emoji with the tongue sticking out because I knew when I saw that the first time that I had to use that on a page. A page about my page, that's her name, making one of her goofy faces. And so that's going to go right there beside her because that just fits her perfectly. Because she's always making goofy faces and crossing her eyes and winking at us. I'm going to use the other one over there on the left that says Just Us. And then I'm going to use that orange starburst up at the top, mainly just because it's orange and it adds a pop of color up there in that area. It does not have any special meaning or anything. I'm going to add a couple of stamps, and this is an older Simple Stories stamp. It says, "Can you believe this?" And then this little heart. I could be wrong. I'm thinking that's Simple Stories. I've had these stamps for a while. So there's something else from my stash. And that is a gray ink that I used. I'm going to add some pink thread behind that starburst. And the last thing I'm going to do, one of the last things I'm going to do is add some gray shimmers, some splatters here. And I do come in after I photograph, or after I turn the camera off. I have some older Studio Calico wood veneer letters, and down there at the bottom where my journaling is going to go, under the word awesome, I'm going to put #goofball, and then I had slanted my journaling under there. And there's the final layout. I like how this turned out. Even though I didn't use as much of my stash as I wanted to, I still used an older collection from 2012. I used up some of the paper, and I created a layout that I wind up liking, even after it started out me not liking it. And I had a fun time once I got it going. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these techniques or, you know, any of the things that I used. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.